After all this time, it's finally here. Ish. After 2 years of waiting, we've been delivered one sneaky episode and left to wait again. And much like any abusive relationship, we keep coming back, welcoming every new episode with forgiving, loving arms. By the time August comes around, Rick and Morty Season 3 will be underway, giving us brand new ways to have existential crises. The first episode has already seen a range of new developments in the story, from the super important to the completely unimportant.
I just got my 6th promotion this week and I still don't know what I do.
One thing in particular that the series has brought back is speculation into the story behind Diane Sanchez, Rick's wife, Beth's mother, Morty and Summer's grandmother, and Jerry's mother and...
I don't give a what you think, Jerry.
The Rick Shank Rickdemption offers a new perspective on her story, only to dispose of it in typical Rick and Morty fashion. The origin story is completely fabricated.
You can't alter details of a memory.
True, but you can alter anything you want about a totally fabricated origin story.
If you still have any doubts, consider the fact that baby Beth also dies in the explosion, which definitely did not happen. All cards are back on the table. I mean, for God's sakes, they didn't even leave the Shonies.
Abort! I'm still in his Shonies! Repeat, we never left his Shonies!
So let's take a look at what we know about Rick's wife. There are times when Beth makes mention of her mother and the way she used to act.
And I know I sound like Mom, but I can't sacrifice this whole family's safety just because I'm afraid you'll leave again.
This further disproves Rick's story because Beth would need to be at least an age where she can remember her mother's conversations. Rick and his wife had a complicated relationship, centered around his focus on science instead of love.
He is a selfish, irresponsible ass, and he left my mother.
Rick clearly has a cynical attitude towards love in general, and firmly believes that science is the appropriate substitute.
What people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle, Morty. Rise above. Focus on science.
Diane's absence is a result of Rick's focus on science. But what exactly is this absence? Did she die? Are the two separated? And if so, why hasn't she made an appearance yet? The pilot episode leads us to believe that she's been gone for a while.
This was a good breakfast, Beth. You really made the crap out of those eggs. I wish your mother was here to eat them.
Oh, Dad.
What? For real?
So maybe she is dead, but that doesn't seem right for a few reasons. From a narrative perspective, it's strange for the writers to deliver a red herring to the audience, only for that to be the actual story. Why would the writer say, Rick's wife died, haha, just kidding, no but actually she is dead? It's just not the Rick and Morty way, to fall short of taking the weird and interesting route. With that in mind, let's look at one important detail that's been overlooked. A detail which calls into question everything. Rick's wife isn't around. Anywhere. It's understandable that she isn't around in Rick's universe for a number of possible reasons, but this show is centered around a multiverse containing an entire citadel of Ricks, none of which seem to include Rick's wife. You might say maybe every Rick is separated from every Diane, but there are universes where Beth and Jerry are happily married, and some where they're separated. You might say that maybe Diane died in every reality, but there are realities where Summer doesn't exist because she wasn't even born. So, if Rick's wife exists, there must be a range of realities where she's still around, which brings us to the answer. Rick's wife doesn't exist. Let's hold that thought for a second and look back at the Citadel. We've already established that there are realities where members of Rick's family don't exist. But there's one thing that all of Rick's realities have in common. They all have a Morty. Whether they're cowboys, aliens, cyclopses, robots, or they have switched shirts. That seems to be the focus of the Citadel. Each Rick is assigned to a Morty, and their job is to accompany them, guide them, and educate them on the scientific world that Ricks have created. Why is this? Because Rick is Morty. After Morty lives a life of scientific adventure, he travels back in time to educate his younger self on the mysteries of the universe. But he can't just travel back and expect to blend in with his young family, so he lives under the disguise of being the family grandfather. How does he manage this? By inserting fake memories into Beth's brain. Rick overwrites the memories of her actual parents to make her believe that he is her estranged father, mysteriously returning after years of not being around. Memory planting is something that's been explored in previous episodes. And to add to this, Rick isn't above altering his family's biology. But to be a fake father, you have to create a fake mother. A mother who disappeared under convenient circumstances. A mother who doesn't actually exist in any of Rick's realities. A mother who only exists within Beth's mind. Rick travels back in time to teach his younger self, each time gaining more and more experience until becoming the smartest person in the universe. Building an organization of shared knowledge of parallel Ricks who act as mentors to their younger selves. Ensuring that each Morty is molded into the Rickest Rick that they can possibly be, thus completing the cycle and solidifying their existence. All of this is done for one profound purpose.
1998 Pepsi promotion for the Disney film Mulan, where they created a new sauce for the McNuggets called Szechuan sauce, and it's delicious. And they got rid of it, and now it's gone. That's what this is all about, Morty. I want that Mulan McNugget sauce, Morty. Mulan Szechuan dipping sauce, Morty. Mulan Szechuan dipping sauce, Morty.